Hey, it's Emily Williams, the founder of I Heart My Life and your host of the I Heart My Life show. This is episode 74, my most recent and surprising money aha. So you might be surprised to know that I still have my own money ahas, even after 6 years of studying money mindset, being a money mindset expert, and truly living a life based on my desires every single day. But I love this work. Money is literally my favorite topic. And I learned so much from working with incredible women around the world, especially women who are planning to uplevel or who want to uplevel. I see their money blocks first and foremost, and I support them in moving through them. But like I said, every single day, I'm blown away by them and what they're experiencing, and they teach me so many lessons. And what often happens through those lessons is I have my own ahas. I have my own awarenesses. And so I'm so excited to share this one with you today. I think it's such a pivotal moment and a pivotal way of thinking for all of us. So let's go ahead and dive in. So you may be surprised to hear that I recently had a big aha about money. I was at our live event, I Heart My Life Live, and I was teaching for 3 days and speaking to the amazing attendees, getting to know them better. And one of the things I realized was how devastated I was about the fact that money was holding so many of them back. For example, one of the exercises that I encouraged them to participate in was upgrading their room at our hotel. We were having the event at a 5-star hotel, the Fairmont Grand Del Mar in San Diego, and some of the ladies chose to stay at the hotel. And so I invited them to upgrade their room. And for those who did not come and stay at the hotel, I invited them to check into the hotel and give themselves permission to experience this environment. Now, I have to say there were, I think, 2 people who took me up on this offer, took me up on this, I guess, not really an offer, this opportunity to upgrade their life then and there. And everyone else stayed in fear and stayed in complacency. Now, I know that might sound a little bit harsh, but I want you to really understand what happens when we allow money to rule our decisions. So oftentimes we think that we don't have enough. We think that it's not possible for us to move forward with something that we want to do or that we want to purchase because the money isn't sitting in the bank. But when you believe that money is abundant, like I do, and that means abundant for all of us, then we know that money doesn't have to dictate our decisions. In fact, our desire can dictate our decisions. And that's truly how I live my life. And so when I see people out there, especially women, because I work with women every single day, making decisions based on not having enough, that really drives me crazy because I see possibility. I look at life through the lenses of possibility. And so often there are people who are stuck in lack, stuck in that place of not enoughness. And it's so important that you do what you can to shift out of it. Because what happens when we stay in that place is we convince ourselves there's not enough. And it's a never-ending cycle because it's not like anything's going to drastically change from a day-to-day experience. If you're constantly thinking that there's not enough or you're not good enough for this, or this experience is going to have to be put off until you have money under the mattress or savings in the bank or till you pay for the kids' education, then you're never going to actually reach that thing that you desire. So it's so important that you shift into the way you want to live your life, literally right now, even before you see the money in the bank. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, so how do I actually do that? If the money isn't in the bank, isn't it, quote, irresponsible for me to spend money? Isn't it crazy thinking for me to think that the money's going to be there when it isn't actually there? And the answer, in my opinion, is no. So what needs to happen here? So let's just have a specific example. So say you want to invest in working with a coach. I recently did a podcast episode all about my process in terms of making that decision. So you can definitely listen to it if you desire more information about that. But say you had the desire to work with a coach and it's $10,000. So I know that if your child was sick or if you were sick and someone came to you and said, okay, in order to cure this disease, you need to come up with $10,000. I guarantee if that was the scenario, you would find the money. And yet when we have an opportunity to do something that's going to be life-changing and life-saving, We don't look at it that way. We look at it as something that it would be nice to have the opportunity. It'd be awesome. So I'll do it in 6 months or I'll do it in a year. We don't look at it as the thing that's going to save our lives. We don't look at it as being urgent to our lives. And I want you to really understand that in the example that I'm giving you, working with a coach or going to an event or whatever it may be, that thing that's going to help up-level you and transform your current reality, well, that is life or death. It's your life. And so right now, when you're stuck in a cycle of underliving, you have to ask yourself, what is going to be that drastic decision that's going to shake me out of that? And how can I start to believe that the money is available to me? If I want it bad enough, if I'm committed to it, if the desire is there, then the money is also there. And so anytime I make a big financial decision, I know the money is there, even if I wasn't expecting to make the decision. Especially when it comes to working with a coach or making a big investment. Most of the time, we didn't know that we were going to be making that investment. One of our sales team members, he said something like 93% of people get on sales calls and they never intended to sign up right then and there, or they didn't even know about the opportunity as something that's brand new to them. Only like 7%, and I might be butchering this, but it's a very small percentage of people have actually planned for it. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but if you start to live life based on your desires, you're probably going to be surprised at the opportunities that come your way. And so for you to expect that all the money is going to be sitting under the mattress right then and there for you to use to transform your life, well, that's a bit of magical thinking. And that's where I want you to start to believe that you can create the money whenever you want. And that's the cool thing, especially about having an online business, especially about working in the way that we do in the year 2020. We have the ability to create wealth. And if you're saying right now, you know what, Emily, I don't actually know how to make money. I don't know how to make this happen. Then you got to believe that that's one of the things you have to learn right now. That's one of those things that's urgent. That's one of those things that's going to change your life if you allow yourself to actually make the investment, if you allow yourself to try. I was the exact same. I had to use James's credit card when I first invested in my the very first coaching program that I did. And then after that, I realized I wanted to work with a one-on-one coach. That was $5,000. Then after that, I realized I wanted to be a part of this amazing group program that was going to cost $125,000. I had no idea how to pay for that, but I knew that if the desire was there, that meant the money was there. And I knew from my money mindset work that money is abundant and there is an unlimited amount of it available to me and to you. And I think this is where most people get hung up. They think for some reason money is not available to them. And I want you to really understand that's completely not true. Money is available to everyone. You might not see it in your bank account this second, but you have to start to believe that money is an abundant resource. And you have to start to recognize that your decisions, the decisions you're making right now, are life or death. Now, we're not talking about actual physical death in this instance, but right now, do you feel like you're dying inside? Do you feel like you have a greater purpose? Do you feel like there's something more available for you? And let's not even look at the coaching example. Let's just look at maybe you want to take a trip around the world. Maybe you want to make a decision that you're going to move across the country because right now where you live and what you're currently experiencing in your reality is not fulfilling you. We get this one life, and yet we're allowing money to dictate every decision that we make. We're allowing it to stop us from moving forward with our dreams. We're allowing it to stop us from staying in the hotel or investing in getting support around the house so that we can have more precious time with the kids. And we're allowing something that's an unlimited resource to dictate our decisions and make us say no. Now, I'm in a hotel room recording this right now, so I'm not going to yell, but I want you to understand how crazy that is. We're allowing something that is an available, abundant resource to everyone to dictate our decisions. We're allowing money to make us say no to opportunities when it's literally there in an abundant way. That's freaking crazy. And so my invitation to you today is to start to shift your belief around money and recognize that if the desire is there, that means the money is also there. Now, again, it might not have been transferred into the bank account, but it's there in possibility. Maybe it's sitting in your potential client's bank account. Okay, so it's there. We can see it in her bank account or his bank account. It just hasn't been transferred into yours yet. But you could easily create something and sell it. You could create a package or a program if you're a coach or consultant. You could sell more products. You could come up with a marketing campaign that takes your sales figures through the roof. The opportunity is right there for the taking. And so no longer allow money to be your excuse, because it's not a good one. I won't believe any excuse that people give me, because I don't live my life based on excuses. If I want to do something, I do it. And I'm not just talking about spending money. I'm talking about staying true to my word and operating on behalf of the vision. If something's going to get me closer to my dreams, then I do it. Then I'm a yes, and I figure out how to make it happen. So again, you would find the money if it was life or death. You would make it happen. If somebody said to you, your child is going to die unless you come up with $10,000, you better believe you would find the money. And right now, this is an urgent situation, because right now you're denying yourself the one life that you want to be living. Right now, you're denying yourself and the rest of the world the opportunity to move forward with your dreams in a bigger way. Think about all the people who are missing out on you impacting them, on them coming across you, just because you're saying no because of the money, something that's an abundant resource. This is so crazy to me. My mind is totally blown, and I hope yours is too. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this incredible book called How Rich People Think, which is by Steve Seibold. So I have some notes here that I'm just going to run through. I highly recommend that you look at that book, though. Look it up. He actually went around the world and interviewed self-made millionaires, and that's how he came up with all this information and data. And he talks about specifically how rich people think. Obviously, that's the title of the book. And so if right now you know you're not operating with an abundant mentality or an abundance mentality, this book needs to be a must read. Because again, you're operating based on lack, and that gets us more lack. When we operate based on our desires and we allow ourselves to even explore our desires and entertain them, and then get creative with bringing in the money, that's when the doors open up. That's when the opportunities open up. That's when we get to work with incredible mentors, just like me. Right now, I'm sitting in a beautiful 5-star hotel, the Ritz-Carlton in Charlotte, North Carolina. They upgraded me. I'm in this gorgeous suite with the biggest TVs I've ever seen, looking at this out at this beautiful view of downtown on the 15th floor, all because I said yes to working with one of my coaches. And this was a 6-figure investment. This was not something I planned to do this second, but I knew that in order to be in service of the vision and go to the next level and get the support that I desired and deserved, then I was going to find the money and I was going to make it happen. And when you're in belief of yourself and you know that you can create money whenever you want, then that's a huge, huge weight off your shoulders. And it's so empowering to know that you have that ability. And that ability is there for all of us. We are incredibly creative and powerful human beings, and we're not using our power to its greatest extent. We're saying no too quickly. We're stopping ourselves from moving forward. And a lot of the times it's because of money, something that's an abundant resource. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Let's look at what Steve Seibold says from this book. So he says, are you focused on saving pennies or building an empire? The masses are so focused on clipping coupons and living frugally that they miss out on major opportunities. And I love this because, again, it's like how you're looking at life. What sort of lenses are you using to observe the world? And most of us are looking at life through glasses, so to speak, that are just focused on lack, focused on living frugally, focused on saving pennies. What if you focused on creating wealth instead? I just like to envision all those people out there like clipping their coupons when they could be spending those hours and all of that time making money. Think about yourself and your relationship with money. He talks about how the self-made rich aren't afraid to take calculated risks because they know if they lost money, they can make it all back. Now, there's two things here. You want to have the mindset that knows that money is an abundant resource and that everything you desire is available for you and you always have enough money for all your desires. And you want to have the belief in yourself that if you were to lose everything, you would make it back. And that's one of the things that I had to really shift in my own thinking, because I have a few people in my life, my grandfather and my dad, who actually experienced bankruptcy. And it's one of those things that could have been passed down to me, right? Because money is programmed and it's part of our DNA and it's passed down from our parents and our grandparents. And so I had to do a lot of work to shift out of that mindset and to not allow that fear to stop me. And the truth is I come from very resourceful family as well. And all those people that I just mentioned, they rebuilt their lives and rebuilt their businesses, and they were able to come back even stronger and more successful. That's what I'm talking about here. Think about all the entrepreneurs in the world who have experienced bankruptcy, all the business owners, and a lot of them have been able to bounce back. So when you remove that fear and you know that regardless of the scenario, you'd be able to make the money back, that's so empowering, and you're no longer allowing your fears to run the show. Okay. One of the other things that the author here talks about is that the average person has been brainwashed to believe that rich people are lucky or dishonest. Then he goes on to say, the world class approaches money like a child who doesn't understand lack and limitation and honestly believes he can do anything. That's what I'm talking about here. So what if you went into every single day believing that everything you desire is possible for you and you can do anything and that you can have anything? Then he goes on to say, there's no mystery to getting rich, but this limiting belief stops most people from even trying. One of the other things that the author talks about is this phrase here. He says, most people never accumulate much money due to a series of self-limiting beliefs around the subject, fueled by negative emotion. By the time the average person becomes an adult, they've been brainwashed with dozens of middle-class beliefs and philosophies. And young adults hear negative money messages over and over until they become beliefs that dictate their behavior. Their well-meaning village of advisors have inadvertently set them up for struggle for the rest of their lives. In short, a middle-class thinking can't teach you how to become a world-class thinker. I love that so much because so often we forget all of these thoughts and beliefs that have been passed down for generations. And we are operating with this middle-class way of thinking. And I don't mean that but like middle class society. There are plenty of people who are considered middle class who have an incredible mindset around wealth, and they've chosen to live their life in a certain way. What I'm talking about here is staying in a box, staying stuck, and staying contained when you don't want to live that life. And so right now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I want so much more for my life. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to stay in beautiful hotels. I want to be able to work with coaches. I want to be able to up level. And yet you're allowing money to run the show and cause you to put on the brakes. Then you have to understand that you're stuck in a negative way of thinking about money. And you need to start to open your eyes to the possibility. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to start looking at the things that you desire. So what are the hotels you want to stay in? Who do you want to work with? And just get curious about what it's going to cost. And then you just ask yourself, okay, so how could I bring in that money? Write a list of as many things as you can possibly think of that would enable you to bring in that amount of money. So it could be a client. It could be borrowing the money from a family member or friend. It could be getting a business loan or getting a credit card. Now, so often people are like, oh, well, I don't want to take out credit. I don't want to have that debt. And my encouragement to you is money is just money. And again, if we wait until you have the money sitting there under a mattress, we're probably going to be waiting a long time, especially when it comes to funding something like a business. So often we think that it's wrong to take out the loan or to borrow the money in some way, but we forget that this way of doing business online, it's very new in the grand scheme of things. People had to take out business loans all the time in order to reach their goals. Now, because we can create our own website and start our own thing online without tons of cost or expense, we freak out about spending the smallest amount of money or borrowing the smallest amount of money. And think about your education. That's another example. We spend thousands. We get out student loans. We ask our parents to pay 20 grand a year or more for our college education and never even think about it. I know that that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's very accepted to do that, at least in the Western world. And then when we start a business or go for our dreams, it's the opposite. We want to scrimp, clip our coupons, and then we wonder why we're not getting anywhere. So I want you to really understand, just as Steve Seibold says here, he said, the rich understand money. And since ideas are limitless, money is limitless. So start to generate your ideas. How could you bring in the money to start to shift into the life that you desire? Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm also not saying it's difficult. I'm saying that it's time for you to try, because right now, the way in which you're living, that's difficult. If you're not in alignment with the life that you want and you're constantly conflicted and feeling like, oh, I desire this one thing and I'm not getting it, and year after year, time passes and you're no closer to your goals, that's difficult. That's much more difficult. That's much sadder, in my opinion. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, are you taking daily action towards getting rich? Or are you waiting to be rescued? Are you waiting for the perfect time, right? And are you operating with an abundant mentality? Or are you allowing money to dictate and run the show in ways that are stopping you from moving forward with your dreams? What would happen if you operated with the belief that everything you desire is available for you and meant for you and possible for you? And that includes the money that you need to move forward with whatever it is you've been waiting to do. Now, like I said at the beginning of this episode, so often I challenge our clients to step up to the plate, to see what they're capable of, to upgrade to that next level room category, or to actually stay in the hotel. So I want you to think about what one challenge would be for you today. What is that thing that you've been wanting to do? And the cool thing about this is, looking back, I know I challenged myself to do something every single month. And there were times where I thought, oh my gosh, is this a good financial decision? And honestly, no one ever died from the financial decisions I made. I don't even remember half of the amounts of money that I spent that I at one point thought were a big deal. I remember in particular, there was a pair of Kate Spade shoes that I wanted forever. And I waited so long because of the money. And then eventually they were sold out. So after I made a little bit of money, I decided I was going to look on eBay and find them. I think they were like $300 or something like that. And I found them, but I procrastinated over the decision for days. And finally, I decided to bid on the shoes. It might have been a buy it now. I don't even remember, like I said. And I got the shoes. And even then, I felt so guilty. I felt like, have I made the wrong decision? Was this an irresponsible decision? And I still have these shoes to this day. And as you can hear in my voice, I don't even remember how much they were. No one died. I love the shoes. And obviously we can think of much greater and more important examples than shoes, but just start where you're at. Challenge yourself. And again, we're not just spending money to spend money. I want you to think of money as your coach. What is it inviting you to do? What is it time to do? Money's probably inviting you, if you're resonating with this episode, to create an abundant mentality and to remember that it's an abundant resource. There are people out there who are billionaires, right? This is possible for you. Decide what it is that you want and move full speed ahead, and do not let money dictate your dreams in a negative way. Do not let money stop you. Allow money to inspire you and remind you what is possible. Allow it to help you shift your mindset into one of abundance, because that's where doors will open. That's where you will see opportunities. If you're focused on lack, you're going to see a lack of opportunities. You're going to see a lack of happiness. You're going to see a lack of alignment. Lack gets more lack. Okay. So my invitation is shift into abundance. Come up with that one thing that you're going to do to challenge yourself and start to observe what happens. This is a new way of thinking for you. And I'm so excited to see what happens because of this change of mindset. You've totally got this, and I'll talk to you soon. I hope you loved today's episode. It's one of my favorites. I'm so excited about this new way of thinking. And again, money is one of my favorite topics and what I work with clients on all the time. If you're interested in learning more and working with me closely when it comes to your own money mindset, go to iheartmylife.com. Right now, I'm hosting a live training series called Money Mindset Mastery, happening from February 17th to 21st. And if you're outside of that time frame, then go to iheartmylife.com and you'll see lots of freebies and information about our iHeart Money signature course and much, much more. We're here to support you in your up level and in creating that abundant mindset that you desire and deserve. Thank you for listening to the iHeart My Life show. For more inspiration, success tips, and ways to achieve your life and business goals, definitely follow me on Facebook and Instagram on iHeart My Life Now. See you next time.